Hey, Mike, do you have any clarity yet about Jackson Dart's availability, and do you expect him to be available to practice Wednesday and play next weekend?
It's still in the protocol, so I'm just gonna see that through, talk with the medical, and when they give us the thumbs up, then we'll take the next action.
What did you think overall, looking at the film of how James played?
I felt the same way I felt like he did after the game. I thought he did a nice job. Obviously, he had a couple turnovers there at the end, but his aggressive mentality, he handled the huddle. He was great on the sideline with the adjustments. He had great command, great urgency. He was really decisive. So I had a lot of praise for Jameis. Thank you.
Patty Traina. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Hey, Patty.
Mike, sticking with Jackson Dart for a moment, there's obviously a need, I guess, to kind of teach him to be a little less reckless, if you will, when he runs. How do you do that? Do you set parameters regarding, what to do in certain situations, on certain downs, certain yardage, or how do you get that message across to him without compromising his, fearlessness?
I think that's the fine line. I think you hit on it right there. And I think Jackson, going through the whole draft process with him and understanding what kind of player he is, he's an aggressive player, and that's what we love about him. But obviously, you want to show him some examples that he can learn from. I think he's going through that now. I think he'll continue to grow from those things. But at the end of the day, he is a competitor. And that's why we love this guy, and I think he'll continue to learn and grow. But you don't want to put a player like that in a box. Obviously, you want to give him some show him the examples that he can improve on, and I think he'll take that to the bank.
But how hard is that, Mike? Because you can show him examples, but no two examples are ever the same.
Absolutely. The game's very fluid. It's very different. So, every single play is kind of a game in its own. And so each example that he goes through and more experience that he gets, he'll continue to learn from that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Tom Rock.
Mike, I think we forgot to ask you last night about Paulson. What happened with him pregame, and is how big of a setback was his knee injury?
Yeah, he went through the pregame routine and was talking with the doctors about it, and just didn't feel good enough for it, and so the doctors recommended that they didn't go. So again, I got full trust in those guys and their opinions on the player. Obviously, player health is super important to me, so I want to make sure Debo's ready to rock and roll and that he's healthy, and then when he's out there, he can go after it.
Is this the kind of a setback that maybe puts him back a couple of weeks now, or are you going to try to get him out there again next week?
Yeah, I'm not sure the severity of it. We'll talk again and have a meeting with the medical and see where it's at and kind of what the decision was and what happened there. But I got full trust in those guys, and I know Debo's he's itching to get out.
And then what did you see when you watched the film of your defense? Obviously, this was sort of the first game that you got to do that as the interim head coach. What did you see there, and how do you fix it? How do you get those guys to be able to close out these games?
Yeah, I think the guys played aggressive. They played their tails off for all 60 minutes. We had some opportunities, some one-on-ones, whether it's on the defensive line, whether it's in the back end, or it's in the second level with the linebacker group. And so that's going to be our focus this week, is having those opportunities and finishing them. We got some drill work that we already talked through and that we'll emphasize this week. But, that's really what it comes down to on the defensive side is we got our one-on-one opportunities. Let's go nail them. And I got full confidence that our guys will go and do that. But I think from a coaching staff on the coaching side, we can continue to be creative with how we're working those drills in practice and put them in more situations to do that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Paul Schwartz.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Paul.
Mike, a couple of things. Just getting back to Jackson for a second. Has the warnings and the videos and showing him examples of maybe where he can be more protective of himself, is that been ramped up since you've taken over, or is that something that has been going on from day one?
I think you're playing a game of football. You're playing an aggressive game to begin with. That's a violent game. I think Jackson's aggressiveness, I don't want him. The last thing I want him out there is playing timid or afraid of getting injured. You want him to go play as hard as he possibly can. Now, there's going to be opportunities for him to go ahead and get down, and I trust that he's going to make the smart choice. There's going to be opportunities where he's got to go get a first down, and I trust that he's going to go make the right choice. And so, again, with a player like this, you don't want to put them in a box, and you don't want to put a bunch of parameters on them. You want them to go play free, play confidently, and play the game that he's been playing his entire life. And so, of course, we want all our guys to be healthy. We want Jackson to be healthy. We want all those guys to be healthy. So, I think from the quarterback position, there will be some opportunities, and he did in his last game in Chicago. He slid it 2 or 3 times and did a nice job in the open field. And so I'm not necessarily like going to go over the top with it. I think he's a smart player and he understands it and he gets it. But when he gets his opportunities, we're going to ask him to go cut it loose and play ball and go ball out there for us.
Just one more I want to ask about that. As far as, you've been with Jackson since the start here. You're on the offensive side, obviously. So is this something that you have been speaking with him about? Like, to my original question, is there anything new with you taking over as the head coach that will try to mitigate some of this? Or is this stuff that has been going on from day one?
Our personal conversations in the quarterback room, it involves all the quarterbacks. Jackson's a part of those conversations, and how we're going to play the game, how we're going to play the game on the perimeter, how we're going to play the run game, the pass game, our screen game, like all those things kind of factor into it. So yeah, we have a ton of conversations about how we're going to play that game, and so I think I wouldn't say there's anything in terms of like our process in the quarterback room. Like, we're going to stay very consistent and continue to prepare as best we can for each game.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Jordan Renan.
Hey, Mike, what's going on?
Hey, Jordan.
I wonder what you saw when you went back and you looked at the game-ending interception there, basically the play with Jalen Hyatt. And what did you see?
Yeah, it was a flag route right there. I think there was a little bit of miscommunication there. I know Jalen's feeling hurt after the game, just about the result of that. And, you never want to see the game end like that for us. But our guys battled, man. Our guys battled. I thought Jameis played aggressive. I thought Jalen had some nice plays in terms of stepping up and making a couple catches. Our guys battled all the way through. So I was proud of them for that. Just didn't get the end result. But little miscommunication that we got to get cleaned up there. And, we'll be better for it moving forward.
What do you say to Jalen, and how do you move forward with that now?
Yeah, and it's never just one play. It's never just one person. It's a team game. It's all of us coming together, all of us making those adjustments, and then when we get those opportunities, we got to go make them right there, right in front of us. We got to go nail it. So, but it's not about one person, and it's not about one play for us. It's about our whole group. There's a lot of plays throughout an NFL game, and there's plenty of things that we could have done better, myself included. And so I'm a part of it with those guys, and I'm gonna work my tail off to get it cleaned up and fixed, and then go attack this week of practice.
And you ran the ball a lot on first down yesterday. I think it was 16 of 19 times in like the first 3 quarters. What was the thinking behind that for you guys?
I'd say there was a little bit of, how we're going to play the game and have a little bit of clock awareness. But also I thought there was some factors of the wind that were a little bit a part of that. But I was just trying to stay on track on first, second down as much as we can and, give us some favorable second downs to get, and third downs as well, depending on how aggressive we were going to be on fourth down. That was just kind of our thought process throughout the week. And then, our guys were executing on it, so we kind of hung with it. But we had a couple alternative plans if things didn't go the way we were anticipating. Thank you.
We'll take 4 more. Brian Dunleavy.
Dunleavy counts as 2.
Brian, we can't really hear you. We'll go to Dan and then come back to Ryan.
Okay.
All right. So, Mike,
what's up?
Couple, like head coaching specific questions. Why did you receive the opening kickoff?
Yeah, that was we were talking with our game management crew, Cade and Ty and Gobi, special teams. So all of that kind of played into it, just where we wanted to be in the fourth quarter, knowing it was going to be a 4-quarter game and give ourselves an opportunity with the kind of the wind in favorable position. So it was a little bit of just the game management side of it. And certainly, obviously had trust in the offense too. So kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
And obviously it was your first day wielding the red flag. Can you take me through the two decisions, the one that you did challenge and then the Wandale one that you didn't?
Yeah, the first one, we trusted the guys upstairs on it, and I think the guy did it. Jacobs ended up stepping out of bounds, but was one that we thought was a little bit short of the sticks, so wanted to take a shot at it. Didn't get it. Even looking today, it was really close. I know the replay showed there's kind of like two angles. One right down the sideline where you can kind of see a little bit of green, but then the one from kind of the side view, it looks like he's out. So just being aggressive with it, and we knew he stepped out a second time, so it just kind of gave us another look at it. But I'm not hesitant to pull the flag if our guys see something and they're confident about it. They jumped right on it. Hey, challenged this one, gave ourselves a chance possibly for a second or a 3rd and 2 on the minus side of the field where we can potentially get the ball back.
And then not throwing it on the Wandale one near the sideline on 3rd down.
That one was kind of a product of when their tight end, when they ruled it incomplete on the tight end on their tight ends catch fumble. Was it a fumble? It was incomplete. That ruling kind of swayed in terms of what we were going to do on the one to Wandale. So once we kind of figured out that's how they were going to rule it was a catch or incompletion, then the one to Wandale, we said, okay, that's in the same world. Didn't feel like it was a strong catch, so we didn't throw the flag on it.
Sorry to keep asking questions, but wasn't Wandale's before that play? Didn't Wandale's happen first?
I thought it was. I might have the two plays mixed up in my head, but we were looking at it upstairs, and our guys felt really confident that it wasn't a catch. I was asking them about it. I saw the replay too, but those two, just the confidence we had up there, we just didn't pull the trigger on it.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Evan Barnes.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
Just to kind of follow up on the run game question, just given how well you guys did run the ball, I know you just said kind of why you guys did do it. How much do you think that success you had, granted every matchup is different, but how much can that success maybe take some of the burden off of Jackson to where it's like, okay, if you want to run, you can and have those decisions, but given how well you ran, you can lean more on, say, Tracy and Motor to kind of, take some of the pressure off him to say, hey, instead of you running, these guys can run. So how much does the success yesterday affect maybe how you use Jackson going forward?
I'd say each game's going to be a little bit different, how we build the game plan out and what we think we can take advantage of. But I think the way that our guys are really playing it in terms of our offensive line's running well, our running backs are running well, our receivers are blocking force with authority. I think they did a nice job this past weekend. So each week will be a little bit different, and we'll just kind of evaluate it as we get into Detroit. Thanks.
Art Stapleton.
Hey, Mike. Good morning.
Hey, Art.
Well, along those lines, everything you said, the receivers are blocking well. The offensive line is playing well. You're getting good quarterback play. The running backs are playing well. You've been here a while now. You know what it's like. I mean, you guys have been chasing that kind of performance offensively for years. From your perspective now as the interim head coach, is it one of those things where you go into every week and it's like, okay, well, we've now got all of this going well, and now there's the frustration of the complementary football from the flip side is not working. How do you, in your own mind, going into a given week, deal with the idea of, okay, we've got this going, but now we've got to get this going, and it's just never seems to be matching up on game day for you guys?
It's a team game. It's a team game, and so I think what I've liked, what our players have done is they've stepped up, and we've continued to continue to fight, continue to battle, and we're going to continue to do that in practice. Right, we're going to continue to put our guys in competitive situations to where we can finish those things at the end of the game, and so. When we're structuring practice, how do I put those guys in more situations where maybe it's a more 2-minute drill, maybe it's some competitive drills, maybe it's some drill work that we can do with each unit that puts them in those situations where they got to make a contested catch or a contested pass deflection. So it's the drill work, it's emphasizing it, and I think and I know when our guys are put in those situations, they'll make the play when it comes to their way again.
And just one more, just the idea, like I said, I mean, you've heard questions constantly about the offensive line, the offensive line, the offensive line. That performance yet again yesterday maybe doesn't stand out, because of the result, but overall, it's kind of what we've expected from this group at this point. Is there any satisfaction or something to build off of, knowing that you're getting this constant performance seemingly every week from those five guys up front?
There's a lot to build off of, and really across the board, across the whole team. And that's what I'm really excited about. Our coaches, talking with them this morning about how our guys played, there's a lot to build off of. And so we're going to certainly show those examples. We're going to show the examples where we can make improvement. And then as a coaching staff, attack those in the practice, attack those in the meeting room, and give them the examples and the information and the tools they need to go out and succeed.
Thanks.
Last one, Brian Dunleavy.
Second attempt. Mike, you got me?
Gotcha.
All right. I apologize. I guess this counts as 4 because I have 2 for you. We didn't ask you last week, and obviously you put Evan Neal on IR on Saturday, so we haven't asked you that. How did Evan Neal get hurt without playing in a game, and what went into putting him on IR?
So Evan got hurt doing a workout. So then the docs, the docs made the decision to do the move to IR.
Okay. And then yesterday we asked you about your staff. You said you were evaluating everything. So this week, do you anticipate any changes to anybody's role or position, or status quo?
I would say status quo. I don't anticipate any. As a matter of fact, we're going to go and attack this week. I'm excited for this week of prep. The coaches are excited about it. We just watched the tape with some good, fresh ideas. So, this will be a couple of good work days here, and we'll get the players in tomorrow. We'll set that plan in motion.
Oh, that's a good last one, Mike. Why'd you make the change to Monday, Tuesday players off day?
I think it gives the coaches a little bit of front end time in terms of getting prepped. Then they see them tomorrow. It kind of takes the emotion out of the game, allows guys to kind of evaluate it and see it with clear eyes, and allows the coaches to do the same. And then it gives us an opportunity to then flip the page and move on to the next opponent. So just a little bit different routine, different schedule that I've had in the past. So I thought it was a good fit.